My name is Tracy Allen, and I want to welcome you to Cooking with Some Friends. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Cooking with Some Friends. The sun's shining right through that window, kind of blinding me, but we'll make it through. I'm going to show you a recipe for some bread pudding, and this bread pudding has some rum sauce that goes over it. It's really great. One of the good things about it is you can take leftover bread, buns, what you have. I had some hot dog buns, and I cut those up or chunked it up, and then I toasted that for about 25 to 30 minutes. I think mine only went 25 at 375 in my 9x13. So then I let that cool completely and I set it aside. Now that it's cooled, I want to put in about a half a package of white chocolate chips. Just let those work their way down. Just a few more. Can't go wrong with chocolate, even white chocolate. Now I'm ready to make the what goes over this just kind of soak in and give it that pudding-like texture. So I have melted 1 stick of butter. To that I want to whisk in 1 cup of granulated sugar. Once that's combined, I'm going to add my spices. So I'm going to put in some cinnamon, about, how much do I put? 2 teaspoons. You can go a little heavier, but I wouldn't go a whole lot heavier because cinnamon can get a little overpowering. And then just a tiny bit of nutmeg. I'm going to put in about 1/4 teaspoon. Again, another spice that can kind of get overwhelming. Those mixed in. And I have my foil out for a reason. I'll show you what we're going to do with that in just a few minutes. Okay, now that I have those mixed together, I'm going to whisk in 6 eggs. And I let these come to room temperature so they would mix in a little bit better. Those of you who can do this one-handed, I applaud you. My fingers are too short. I can't seem to do that, so. And 1 more. Those incorporated, and once I do that, I'm going to stir in 1 can of evaporated milk and 1 can of sweetened condensed milk. Evaporated. And my sweetened condensed. Once I get this mixed in, I am going to stir in 1 quart of heavy cream. I want to get that mixed in first. You could actually add the heavy cream before you add the eggs, whichever way you want to do it. It's not going to hurt which order you do it in. this will seem like a lot of liquid, but you want it to soak into the bread. And again, I would recommend you use a heartier bread, but this summer if you're making this, it's great if you have leftover buns and stuff to just use those up. A quart of milk, a quart of heavy cream. Got my husband a Ninja ice cream, a creamy, for Christmas, and we have been using quite a bit of heavy cream because it makes great ice cream, and I've been kind of on the yogurt kick. The frozen yogurt that comes from it is wonderful too. And once we get all this whisked together, I'm going to pour this over my bread that we've toasted. And then this has to sit covered, and I'll show you how we cover it to make sure that soaks in, but it has to sit covered for about 20 minutes before we do anything else to it. Now, to make sure that that kind of gets really well coated, we're going to cover this with foil really well. And again, this needs to sit for 20 minutes. Just soak that in. But then I'm going to take another 9x13 cake pan, and I'm going to add some water to this and let that kind of gently press that sauce down in so it's all well coated. So I'll get some water in this to give it some weight and let it set for 20 minutes. If you take a peek in, this is what it looks like after it has soaked for about 20 minutes with that weight on it. Now, you do want to make sure you don't overweigh it so it leaks out. And I did forget to tell you, you need to add a tablespoon of vanilla to that mixture before you pour it over your bread. So you would definitely want that vanilla flavor. Now I'm going to put it in the oven covered for an hour and 10 minutes or so, and then uncover it and bake another 30 minutes. All of that at 375. Okay, our bread pudding is still in the oven, and once it comes out, we need to let it cool for about 30 minutes. But then we're going to put the rum sauce over it. So I want to show you how to make that rum sauce. I have in my saucepan 1/2 stick of butter that I'm melting, along with a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. And I want to bring this up to a boil. Once it boils, I can go ahead and add my vanilla. I'm going to add a tablespoon of vanilla, and then the good stuff, Katie, a 1/4 cup of dark rum. So we're going to bring it to a boil and then add those in. We just added our vanilla. Now our 1/4 cup of rum. And I want to drop this to a simmer. Then I'm going to stir in a 1/2 cup of whole milk. I have 3/4 cup here because I'm going to use the other 1/4 cup in a minute. Bring that to a simmer, and then I'm going to also stir in a 1/4 cup of powdered sugar. Smells good. When you take your bread pudding out of the oven, don't be shocked it has really grown in the baking dish, and it's supposed to be that way. As this cooks, it will thicken up, but you can also, to make it a little bit thicker, you can take that other 1/4 cup of milk that you have and add a teaspoon of cornstarch to make a slurry. And add it into your sauce as it cooks. Our bread pudding is going to come out. We're going to let it cool 30 minutes, and then we'll pour our sauce over it and let that cool again for another 30 minutes. Thanks for joining us for this session of Cooking with Some Friends. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And find us on Facebook at Cooking with Some Friends.